All right, all right. We're gonna get this party started. Oh, I was waiting for the Wi-Fi to kick in. Let's go. All right, guys. I want to welcome you to the Do Work Podcast. Make sure my mic is in play here. Boom. All right, we are on. We are live. Cool. All right, family, I want to welcome you to the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things mindset, motivation, entrepreneurship, free thinking, and how to live your best life possible. Today is no different, but I do want to start by saying this. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. Yo, I'm so excited. 2024 is here. Season 3 of the Do Work Podcast starts on January 3rd, which is Wednesday. So hopefully you join us. Those episodes will be live. But again, to give you a little more what you're going to be in store for with season 3, I have like so many windows up here. With season 3, man, I don't know about you, but I'm excited. 2024 is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And if you haven't already, I want you to take a second, whatever platform you're on. If you're on Instagram, please subscribe to my broadcast channel. If you're looking at this on YouTube, either now or even later, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Same thing on Facebook. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple. We are everywhere. Everywhere, all things. Hopefully to all people, but who knows? All right, so I want to talk about 2024 and goals for 2024. Now, I know, and if you're wondering where my glass is with my alcoholic beverage, I'm not drinking today. Not that I drank yesterday. I'm just not drinking today. Not in the mood. I need to hydrate. I need lots of hydration. But anyway, 2024 goals. One of the things a lot of people do in 2024 is they begin to reassess their life, their finances, their fitness, just overall general, like where am I? Am I where I want to be? Did I make progress in this last year? And a lot of people wait until, clock hits midnight, it's January 1st, it's a new year, to make those assessments and adjustments. Now, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not. I did not forget my cigar though. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not. If you waited till January 1st to make changes, that's okay. It's perfectly all right. This is the thing that's important. That you make the changes. You got to make the changes. Like, don't be, I wish y'all could see my dog right now. Pancake is like staring at the wall. I gotta get him a couch. I want you to make the changes. Don't be the person who every year is saying they're going to change the same thing. Don't be that person because that's no fun. Don't be that person. You want to be the person that genuinely is reaching their goals. Now, this is one of my favorite cigars, guys. It's a fun thing. Anyway, you want to be one of those people who are genuinely reaching their goals. So when you come to the end of the calendar year, you're able to assess and say, I've accomplished X, Y, and Z. Now, unless you have taken time during the year to create a solid plan, and we often talk about this, it's season 3, unless you have taken time to create a solid plan and strategy and create ways for you, a blueprint, a way for you to execute, you probably missed the mark on a lot of things. We all do, we've all done it. I've missed the mark on many things, many a times, but the goal is not to repeat the same mistake twice because that absolutely means you're in it. You should not be making the same mistake twice. Definitely not 3 times. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. So one of the things I want to encourage you guys to do as we go into 2024, really start to lay out your life. I mean, I know people say you should have a 1-year plan and a 5-year plan and 10-year plan. I'm going to say this to you. Start planning quarterly. Think about it in quarters or halves. Now, obviously, the basic step is to start with your daily plans. To start like, how am I going to execute the next day? And how do we plan for the next day? We plan the night before. Okay. So use that to set up the framework for your 2024. Really start to dig in and create plans and strategies so you can execute better and get closer to your goals. Now, the other thing that's usually pretty interesting when it comes to New Year, oh, my button just broke. I like this jacket. Man. The other thing that comes into play when we talk about New Year and New Year goals and New Year resolutions and things of that nature is fitness. I mean, January in the fitness industry is like the holy grail. January in the fitness industry is like the Super Bowl of fitness. That is the time of year, as one of my good friends used to say, it's either feast or famine. If you're in the industry, you like try to get it all while you can before people lose their motivation, their inspiration, and fall. If you're a person who has constantly struggled with your fitness goals, and you're using this year, this moment, this day as an opportunity to assess that and make plans to do better, I salute you. But it's going to be tricky because your motivation is going to fade. I talk about motivation and discipline a lot. Your motivation is going to fade and your discipline is going to need to kick in. So at some point, you're going to have to want to reach your goals more than you want to be comfortable. I'll say that again. At some point, you're really going to want to reach your goals more than you want to be comfortable. Getting your health and fitness and wellness together is super uncomfortable. Super uncomfortable. It's hard. It's never easy. It's never been easy for anybody. That's a lie. If somebody said, oh, it's easy for me to get in shape, no, it's not. Because as you get stronger, as you get better, you know what you do. You got to keep amping it up and working harder so you continually get the results you want. So you get where you want to be. Stop. Fitness is not easy, but I'm going to say this to you. The goal is to be the best version of you. You want to be the best version of you. So please don't let these platforms gas you into thinking you got to be somebody else. Because you don't. What you have to be is the best version of you. Now, also, you don't want to use this as a cop-out. Like sometimes a lot of people use this as a cop-out. They use it as a cop-out. They're like, well, people need to love me and accept me for who I am, and this is it. I'm going to tell you something. This ain't it. We can all be better. We can all be and do better. Now, currently, there's been this whole fitness movement around, I call it the fat acceptance movement. So before everybody get your panties in a bunch, I ain't calling nobody fat girls and fat boys. I said the fat acceptance movement. Now, the fat acceptance movement is, I'm going to be honest with you, I do not agree with it. I think it's garbage. But I'll have a guest on later this month who can elaborate further for you. It's pretty much it's beyond self-acceptance. I'm going to be honest. It's a cop-out and it's a reason to be lazy. So in this whole fat acceptance movement, there's this whole mindset of, and we're talking morbidly obese people. Before people, I ain't talking about curvy girls. That ain't what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about dad bods. I'm talking about morbidly obese people gluttoning themselves, saying it's okay to be that way. We need to accept them for who they are. And they want us to change the world around us to accommodate them. I actually saw an influencer who was saying that airplane seats need to be bigger and be more accommodating for fat people. Now, mind you, we ain't talking about curvy girls here. She's talking about somebody that's 400, 500 pounds. And she doesn't feel she should have to pay for 2 seats. And it's like, dude, you do know planes work on weight and stuff. Like, that's why they get the luggage, and all the luggage has to kind of be a certain weight because they know how much weight will affect the movement and trajectory of the plane. Like, it's not hate. It's not hate. That's aerodynamics and shit, right? But that whole movement has opened up this gateway to people not caring what they eat, what they do, how they live, how they move, and hiding behind the guise of, you know, this is who I am. You need to accept me. I'm morbidly obese. I choose not to work out. I choose. You need to accept me and adjust the world around me, and that ain't it. So back to our whole fitness angle. What I'm saying to you is this: yes, you should become the best version of yourself, whatever that is, whatever that means, and that's cool. But do not use the accept me as who I am as a cop out not to be better. Because I do feel that's where society is headed on many topics. Again, this is our New Year's talk, but a lot of this is going to come up in the Do Work podcast. I do feel that's where society is headed on a lot of topics. It's like I want people to accept me for who I am, though I'm not being my best self. And that ain't it. That ain't it. We don't co-sign on that at the Do Work podcast. We don't. So as we move into 2024, fitness is your journey and yours alone. Find something you like, something you enjoy, something that doesn't necessarily feel like work in the beginning. Because I'll be honest and tell you, sometimes fitness is always fun, but it's work. I enjoy boxing. If you follow me, you know I enjoy boxing. I've been boxing for over half my life. It's fun. It's work. It just is. Some days are more fun than more work, and some days are more work than fun. But it's part of the journey. Is necessary for my health, my wellness, my mental clarity. So if you haven't made fitness a part of your journey, I don't care what you do. Find a trainer, I don't know, you want to do Zumba, do some Zumba. I don't care, water aerobics, doesn't matter. You can try one of our warrior formats. Yes, I'm putting my programs, Warrior Combat. You can check out Warrior Rhythm, Warrior Strength. You can follow those pages. You can follow some of our stuff there. You can follow your favorite influencer if they know what they're doing and they're not bullshitting you. Because you know everybody that teaches fitness on the internet don't do fitness. Some of them just they out here hustling y'all, but do I know? Right? Anyway, I said I wouldn't be on here long today because it's a New Year's episode. This is a New Year's episode. And I'm not trying to beat nobody over the head, but I do want you to take today, and if not tomorrow, whenever, take the time to work on your best self. Whatever that is, doesn't matter to me. Whatever it is, you take time to work on your best self. That's what 2024 should be about for you, if it hasn't been for you in the past. But don't use the guys working on your best self to be an asshole. Because sometimes people are like, well, I'm just doing me. But in doing you, you're being a dick. You're not really doing you. You're just being a dick. And everything you're doing is not productive and is pushing the people closest to you. So don't be that person either. Like, where you take your self-development and self-help so far that you're like, oh, I'm doing this for me and I'm cutting everyone off, and stop being dramatic. Just do what you need to do. The people who love you and support you are going to be there with you on your journey and along the way. And that's how you want to live this life. That's how you win at the game. That's how you stay happy. That's how you stay stress-free. Learn to just stay focused on your task and not the task of other people. That's what I wish for everybody in 2024. I want you to stay focused on your task and not worry about other people. You'll find so much joy in focusing on the things that make you happy, that are productive. The things that make you happy that are productive. I'm not talking about bad behaviors and terrible habits that make you happy in the moment. I'm talking about things that genuinely make you happy. Focus on that. 2024 will be amazing for you. It'll be tremendously amazing. All right. Now, let me see if we got who's on. I haven't even looked over here. I got like 50 million screens. Cool. Okay. So one of the questions I was asked earlier this week, somebody asked me why why do I podcast? Which I thought was interesting because nobody else got that damn question, but somebody asked me, why do you podcast, Diva? So when this podcast started during the pandemic, it was actually called Drinks with Diva. So I would have people on. We would talk about our favorite cocktails and discuss whatever topic was at hand. You know, again, it was a pandemic, so it was a lot going on, but nothing going on because everybody was in the house. But as we started to come out of the pandemic, I was trying to find other ways to like stay in it because I really do enjoy talking to people, and I enjoy talking about things that make people uncomfortable. Like I can podcast and talk about the easy shit, safe shit, but that's not fun. Why would I do that? That's not fun. I want to talk about the stuff that's uncomfortable. I want to talk about the stuff that's hard. I want to talk about the stuff that really like probably gonna piss you off. And I want to talk about the things that are gonna make you think. So as I transitioned into like I think 2021 or 2022, it been 2022. I switched the name to the Do Work Podcast because I figured I would name it after my coaching program, my online coaching program. I said, yeah, we'll tie all this together, right? And in that, it was interesting because even in talking about entrepreneurship and rethinking, a lot of topics just really started to overlap. Like you can't talk about entrepreneurship, at least to me, without talking about politics. Because government and politics affect business tremendously. You can't talk about free speech without talking about the extreme amounts of censorship. You can't. So as things started to develop more and more, I realized that I want to talk about the shit that's going to make you uncomfortable. That's it. And it's going to make you think. And it's going to help you realize that the world is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. We all have to coexist on this rock together. We don't always do it so well, but we do. And in an effort to coexist on this rock together, it's important to have dialogue. A lot of people, I feel, stopped talking and having intellectual dialogue a long time ago. It's easier to blame and hate and be extreme than it is to listen and attempt to learn. I said attempt because the learning may not happen. So some of the guests on season 3, you're not going to agree with. I might not even agree with. And then there are going to be times in season 3, I'm going to say things where you're not going to be a fan. And that's okay. But part of this process and part of this whole democracy and part of the reason why this country is so fucking awesome is because I can sit here and say, I like this politician, I like this artist, and that's okay. And if you choose not to interact with me because of that, that's okay. That's your right. It's not stuff to get bent out of shape about, you know? So as we go into season 3, I encourage you to be open-minded. Doesn't mean, again, you have to agree. And I feel like I'm probably going to start playing an intro. You don't have to agree. I don't care if you agree. But you do need to learn to be open-minded. To listen, to be open to learning, and then look up stuff for yourself. You don't have to believe what I said. You don't have to believe what the guest said. But I encourage you to look it up. A lot of times, I was just telling somebody, I don't know if it was, I wrote a podcast or an article, and we were talking about religion. And actually, it was about the whole Israel and Palestine situation. And someone asked me my thoughts. And I simply said this. You cannot argue with people in their God-given beliefs. You can't. You can't argue with Israel. You can't tell them you're wrong. You're killing these people if they feel they have the God-given right to that land. That's what they feel. You ain't gonna change them otherwise. They feel they got the God-given right. You can't argue. None of us can argue with anybody's belief in God. The Palestinians feel they have the God-given right to the land. You can't argue with them either. You can't argue with them either. The shit's messed up. Should the U.S. be involved? I don't know, but just know the United States only get involved if it's beneficial for them. And you see that throughout history. They only get involved when it's beneficial for them. But all that to say, like, can't argue with God, whoever your God may be. You cannot argue with God. You cannot argue with people's God-given beliefs. You cannot dispute them, because the thing about faith and religion, when people believe that, it is an absolute. It's an absolute. You can't argue with absolutes. You're not going to be able to argue with a Christian about God and Jesus Christ. You're not going to be able to argue with a Muslim about their belief in Allah. You're not going to be able to argue with any Jews about Judaism. That is their belief. So I think it would behoove us all to stop trying to argue and convince people to believe what we want them to believe. Everybody thinks they should convert everybody to their own religion. Well, that gets messy now, doesn't it? You can't do that. It's not their belief. And here, in the good old US of A, you're allowed to subscribe to any religion you like. Anyone you like. Doesn't matter. So, as we go into this next season, be open-minded. Look from both sides. Try not to be so extreme. When we talk politics, a lot of times people are like, they're either conservative or liberal. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm neither. And I'll probably never vote again, but I'm saving that for season 3. That's a whole other podcast. I'm neither at this point. If there was a term or there was a party, can't be independent because independents have no power. By the way, this is Diet Pepsi because I don't drink regular soda ever. Can't be independent because independents don't have power. I think the Democratic Party has gone too far. Shit is super weird over there. And I think the Republican Party has actually gone too far too, but not as far as the Democratic Party. They got some weird shit going on too, but they make a little more sense. They actually make a lot more sense, right? But in that, why can't we have those conversations? Why can't we have those conversations without people yelling and screaming and acting stupid and not being able to articulate their points clearly? Season 3, we're diving into that. People need to learn how to communicate. They need to learn how to express their views. And if you don't like something or somebody, just don't support it. It's that simple. It's that simple. If there's a company that does things I don't like or don't agree with, just don't buy their stuff. Now, when you really dig deep, that gets a little tough because a lot of companies are involved in a lot of things that are shady. So unless you're really ready to like live off the grid and make your own clothes and food, I don't know. You're going to be supporting some things you may not like indirectly. But again, season 3, we're going to talk about it. So as you go into this new year, be open-minded. Ask questions. And make sure that you're living your best life. That's it. Oh, and I got to shout this guy out. Before I close it out, a guy came in my YouTube and was like, it was a great comment. I'm holding it because in a year, we're going to have a conversation, my friend. But he said to me, he goes, you're smoking a cigar and you have a half-shaved head. You should be yourself. And I thought to myself, you must be new here, motherfucker. One, I've had a shaved head for 10 years. More than 10. 2, I've been smoking cigars since college. I just probably started smoking about 4 years ago. 4.5, maybe 5, 4 years ago, publicly. But I've always smoked cigars. That's not new. And hey, you don't know me, son, in my Goggins voice. So, to that awesome person, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Appreciate the like, creation, comment, all that drops to the top. You're the man. All right, guys. Again, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things mindset, motivation, free thinking, entrepreneurship, and how to live your best life possible. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, okay, subscribe to Richard's Do Work Podcast. You can catch these replays on Spotify, Apple, Spreaker, or wherever else you play your podcast. And we are live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. EST. So make sure to hop in. January is all about fitness. So tune in. We're going to be talking about health, fitness with different people, different perspectives. Hopefully, you'll hear some shit that'll change your life. All right, guys. Take care. See you later. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. Let's go.